Hey everybody, it's Mitch Schwartz, your Las Vegas real estate professional since 1987 today to discuss with you the 10 action steps that you can take to avoid a foreclosure. In addition to that, I'm going to go over the one critical item that people often miss when they're doing a short sale that can cost them up to $3,000. Now, believe it or not, most banks don't want to do a foreclosure. They want to avoid it like the plague, just like you do. And to actually help you get a little bit more information past this video, I've created this website, and if you click on the link below this that says short sale help, it'll take you right to it. Lots of frequently asked questions about short sales and loan modifications, even some links to various governmental programs and things that hopefully will be able to help you out to make a good decision about whether or not going through letting the foreclosure take place, maybe going through a short sale, or even what's happening with a loan modification and why. So let's break right into it. 10 action steps to avoid a foreclosure. First one, do not ignore the situation. Very important that you just don't pretend that it's not happening. Because the bottom line, it really is happening, and you need to make sure that you're on top of the situation. By ignoring it, you're pushing it off to the side, but believe it or not, the process doesn't stop just because you're ignoring it. Number 2, contact your lenders immediately. I have found through talking with various people that if they contact their lenders early on in the process, many times they're willing to help them. They actually might give them a couple of months forbearance, where they actually take the couple of payments and put it on the back and give them a chance to get caught up. There's lots of things they can do, but more importantly, you're in communication with them, showing that you're trying to help the situation and not just, as we said in the first example, ignoring the situation. Number 3, open and respond to all mail. Very important. There could be a very important legal letter that comes your way via mail, and if you don't open it, you're not going to know about it. There might even be an offer of a loan modification included in the mail. You don't open it, you don't find out about it. The funny thing is about the way the mail works, if your lender, or anybody else for that matter, sends you a letter that is certified and return receipt requested, and it comes to you and you refuse it or don't pick it up, or don't go to your post office, as far as everybody else is concerned, legally, you got the information. Not a good thing for you if you're avoiding the situation and not opening up your mail or communicating with your lenders. So I recommend that you do that. Open and respond to all mail. You also need to know your mortgage rights. That also follows with knowing your obligations. If you know what your rights are, how long is it going to take for them to foreclose once they actually file the notice of default? How many times do they have to advertise for sale on a foreclosure sale? When does the sale actually take place? Understand your rights as it relates to your mortgage, and you'll actually be in a much better position to discuss with them what your needs are and how you can help them get what their needs are accomplished, so you can both get what you want, which is to avoid a foreclosure. Number 5, understanding your foreclosure options. This is very important because there are a myriad of options out there, many of which people haven't even thought about. You know, if you want to avoid a foreclosure, there's a short sale. There's a loan modification if you're lucky. There's, believe it or not, bankruptcy sometimes can help people. I don't advise it very often, but sometimes it can help you. There's lots of options available to you out there. You want to make sure that you know what your options are. Contact a HUD-approved housing counselor. There are a few of them in the Las Vegas Valley. They're free, they're paid for by the government, and they're trained to help you, and best of all, they are HUD approved, which means they basically have met the mark of the United States government and are available to help you. They're paid for by the federal government to help people just like you and I. So you might as well take advantage of it and go with a HUD approved housing counselor. Number 7, evaluate your spending and budget. I know it's like beating a dead horse. Look at your budget, find out where the fat is, cut it out. It's kind of hard to do that, but I understand that you're going to have to do that. Maybe there's something that you're spending money on that you shouldn't be. Maybe there's an extra trip. Believe it or not, it could be as little as a latte every morning. That adds up over time, and if you could cut some of those things out, at least temporarily, that might help your situation be just a little bit better for the things that are really super critical, like your home. Number 8, employ all of your assets. And what I mean by that is this. Some of us have 3 cars. Maybe you got a 3rd car and you don't need it. Maybe you have a 2nd car and you don't need it. Maybe you inherited a bunch of jewelry that you don't wear, and I know it might have a little sentimental value, but maybe your great-grandma would have appreciated the fact that you sold that jewelry and were able to stay in your home. What I don't want you to do, though, is deplete your qualified retirement funds. Those are kind of off limits when it comes to these kinds of situations like foreclosure and deficiency, short sale, deeds in lieu of foreclosure, those kinds of things. They generally won't try and attach those because they can't. So don't deplete them because you're going to need them later. And the bottom line is taking that money and dumping it into a house that you may lose anyways is putting you into a bad situation for the future because you're really borrowing your money that you're going to need in your retirement years for a house that you're probably not going to get to save today. So I recommend that you don't deplete your retirement funds, but you still look around your house and look at things you may have that you can sell. Maybe it's a 5-acre parcel of land in Arkansas that you've been getting letters on. Somebody wants to buy them for the longest time. Maybe it's time you just broke down and actually sold that. Number 9, avoid foreclosure prevention companies. There's a lot of scams out there that actually claim to prevent foreclosure. Very few of them are able to truly prevent foreclosure. They'll ask a lot of money up front. They're not going to be able to do a whole bunch. As a matter of fact, the whole mortgage assistance relief, the MARS program as they call it, the Mortgage Assistance Relief Agency's program, basically was designed, that legislation was designed around these foreclosure prevention companies who really could do nothing more than what you could do on your own by communicating with your lender. So literally, I would avoid them like the plague. Stay away as much as you can. Don't give anybody any money. There's a few attorneys out there who can help you, and frankly, if you need some referrals to an attorney, contact me. I'll be happy to give you a name or two of people who I know are doing good by my clients. They probably could do the same for you. Number 10, don't get involved in any recovery scams. And what I mean by that, there are agencies out there or companies who come in and they'll say, sign this paperwork and we're going to act on your behalf and sign the house over to us and we'll take over. Then once we get it all straightened out, we'll deed the house back to you and then you'll be all well on your way. Well, the bottom line is they actually take the title of the property. Don't take over for the loan, but do take title of the property. And as a result, you're going to get stuck being a renter in your own home, paying rent to somebody who probably is not going to be able to keep the property because they're not collecting enough rent to make the mortgage payments. And so you're stuck 6 months later from now, having been a renter. Now you no longer own this property and they're still foreclosing and you have a foreclosure on your record because they never did anything about the loan. You're kind of skunked. I recommend that you avoid that. So let's just quickly review. Don't ignore the situation. Contact your lenders immediately. Open and respond to all mail. Know your mortgage rights. Understand foreclosure prevention options. Contact a HUD-approved housing counselor. Evaluate your spending and budget. Employ your assets. And avoid the foreclosure prevention scams, as well as the don't get involved in some of the foreclosure recovery scams. And now, for the critical thing that most people omit when they're doing a short sale that can cost them up to $3,000. Believe it or not, it's spelled H-A-F-A, HAFA, the Home Affordable Foreclosure Avoidance Program. The Obama administration got together with a lot of the big lenders and got them to agree to give owners of property who are assisting them in doing a short sale, rather than let it go to foreclosure, they give them up to $3,000 at the close of escrow if they cooperated, made it easy for the property to be sold, provided all the necessary documentation when they needed it, lots of things that trigger it, but you may qualify for that if you decide that a short sale option is your choice. So many people forget to ask about it, and it's out there, and there are people out there getting very real HAFA money simply by asking for it and filling out the necessary forms. So if you decide that short sale is an option for you, don't run the risk that you forget to ask about a HAFA short sale, because you very well may be entitled to $3,000. Just one tip that I hope saves you a little bit of money, or maybe puts a few bucks in your pocket. Anyhow, Mitch Schwartz here again, just telling you, if you thought this was of value, please let me know. If there's something that you would like me to discuss on a future video, tell me about that too. Feel free to pass this along to anybody you think who might need to have some of this information, and by all means, make it an awesome day.